Hey guys, Bone Tactical checking in. You guys have been asking a lot of questions on how you get weapons overseas and where weapons come from if you're working security or looking for personal protection or any of those kinds of things. Right now we're in Guatemala, and we're going to be discussing a little bit of some of the weapons that we have here and the legality of them and how they got here, and just answering a lot of the questions that you guys have. So I'll just do a real quick run through and show you, and then I'll show you kind of a few pros and cons of some of the weapons, and I'll talk to you as well about the legality of the stuff. So here we have obviously an AR. This is basically a built AR. It's got the Noveske CQB brake, or it's going to be something that's used for projecting sound forward. It's kind of similar to a suppressor, but in the United States, according to the ATF, it's considered a muzzle brake. So what it does is it shoots the sound forward. You can see that it's got a hole in there on the front, and it shoots the sound forward. So we've got this is just an AR-15, standard collapsible stock, EOTech red dot, kind of a short, this would be considered a pistol version in the US, but it's shorter. This one has a light on it, foregrip. We're running polymer P-mags as well as some original standard mags, just really standard stuff. A lot of you guys who have ran ARs before will understand this kind of stuff. Very adaptable platform and allows you to do a lot of stuff. So we've got this one, and then we've got this one as well. This one actually has the backup sight on there as well. Otherwise it's almost an identical twin. Thank you. We've got a laser as well for you guys that may be interested. This laser can be put on here as well as an option if you are looking for that kind of thing. Now let me talk a little bit more about some of the other stuff. I'll just briefly go through. Obviously you guys know I make the most effective edged weapons and self-defense tools in the world. We are down here, and of course we're going to have our bone breakers with us. We're going to have our Tomahawks, the M2 version. If you guys have not seen the destruction testing videos going up, I shot one of these with a 9mm. I shot one with a 40 cal from like 7 yards away, full magazine in each. Chopped through a car with one of these things. So guys, check those videos out. They're insanely tough. They're the strongest Tomahawks in the world. So check those out. I'll give you a real quick rundown. We've got anything from, your standard 9mm and 40 cal pistols. We've got Berettas, okay? I'll show you guys really quickly a rundown of these pistols, of what we've got here, so you guys can check them out. We've got, like I say, Berettas. This is a newer one. This Beretta is basically the 92, but it's a newer one that has the front rail on here, so you can put you can put a light on here or a laser, but it's very desirable. Down here and in Latin American, Spanish speaking countries, people love the Beretta, so it's a very popular firearm. We've got a lot of the either Berettas or Beretta clones down here. These are actual Berettas, but you guys have seen in some of my other videos some of the Beretta clones, and we've got some as well. We've got some of the John Browning design high power. Got some of the John Browning design high power 9mm, and this one I believe is a 40, or this is a 9mm as well. This is a 40. So this is a 40, this is a 9mm, and with this 40, I actually shot the Tomahawk. So if you guys haven't seen that video of me shooting the Tomahawk, definitely check it out. No damage was even done to the Tomahawk in that video. Not even the Cerakote was knocked off, which Cerakote, the paint might fall off later, I don't know, but that's just crazy. It was just taking the rounds and didn't even do any real damage to them. Also, chopping through the car didn't do any significant damage either, so it's pretty crazy. As far as legality of this stuff is, we've got, a hunting rifle back here as well, shotgun, some other stuff. I just wanted to kind of show you guys a broad spectrum of some of this. I'm doing a real quick video. This is the El Sicario concealed carry shirt as well. Make sure you guys check this out. If you're going to be concealed carrying, this is the best way to do it. So nobody. The advantage of concealed carry is so nobody knows you have a firearm on you. So you want to definitely look into this. But the legality of this stuff, and especially working overseas, working as a contractor, something like that, you always want to make sure that you're working legally. So you want to be either look into whether you are certifying these things through a security contracting company that's in the country or directly through the government, but both ways is going to be having legal permission through the government, and you're going to definitely want to make sure that you have that legal permission. All of these are registered with the government. In the United States, you don't necessarily, you guys might think that there's registration in the United States. There's actually supposed to be, there's not supposed to be gun registration in the United States. There's only supposed to be background checks. And then you can sell individual guns to other people and things of that nature. Here, and especially working security, you're supposed to have all of your weapons, and even in some cases, body armor, registered with the government. So a lot of times, us, to be safe, everything's registered up front. We have full permission, and then there's even times, though, it's such a third world country. In all of the countries that we operate, from Mexico all the way down to South America, there's times that even riding around with weapons like these are going to be very difficult. And so here's an example of some soft body armor. Gracias, Señor Pedro. And we'll be basically just kind of demonstrating as well a lot of stuff in the future that you guys can check out. So this is soft armor, but even that is supposed to be registered. You have to have permission for everything you have. And the reason for that, I guess, is the war on drugs. Basically, the excuse for it is what they're trying to really determine, what type of people have these kind of weapons. So, and also, like I said about that, it's really just, it's always a gray area because your police are often corrupt, your military are often corrupt. So riding around with this stuff is dangerous whether you have permission or not, and it's really just it's very dangerous, guys. And having something like this, very, very, very few people have this, and even fewer have permission. So there's a chance the police are going to try and steal it from you, or military. So it's really just, even though we make sure we do everything legal, it's still not an easy job, and it's still, at the end of the day, it's still every man for himself kind of type thing. Not something that is cut and dry, black and white, a lot of shades of gray. And just, if you guys have questions or comments, or these are the kind of videos that you like, you want to see more stuff like this, let me know, because you guys had been asking, how do you get weapons? Well, you buy them from an official source or from a person, and there's always a government involved in any of these countries. You always have to have permission, and it's contacts, guys. At the end of the day, there's one way to get weapons in any country in the world. And guys, I've been there, I've done it, I've been all around the world. There's one way to get weapons in any country in the world, and the way to do that is not what you know, but who you know. You gotta have contacts, number one, guys. All right, thank you for tuning in. Again, comment below if you like this video, share it. And signing out with the old standby. For those of you guys who are maybe some Vietnam vets, you might be familiar with this. This is actually, I personally, when I was younger, when I was a young man, 16, 17, used to hunt with one of these that was used in the Vietnam War before it's 30-06, and this is the Winchester Model 70, I believe. It looks just like the one that I had that was used by a very good friend of my family's, and 30-06 in the Vietnam War. And the Remington 700 after the Vietnam conflict became the standard 308 bolt rifle that was used by all snipers in almost all branches, especially the Army. But before that, the 30-06 was used very heavily, and it's a larger bullet, a little more powerful. And yeah, just wanted to sign out with this. You see all kinds of variety. You see anything down here, guys. We've seen machine guns, grenades, stuff. You hear stories of stuff floating up on the beach in all of the countries that we work in, and even vacation in. And I do a lot of, hanging out in the islands, and everybody and their brother has a story of cocaine and grenades and guns that have washed up in a crate on the beach. So the big deal, guys, here is legality. You want to make sure you're within your legal rights, because being in a foreign prison isn't fun, I can tell you that straight away, and you want to just make sure that you're squared away, but you also want to understand that how to operate in the gray areas. And again, number one, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Bone out. All right, let's go kill some people.